idea of sitting there for 3 hours with them talking football. That's just a kick.
Are we going to still see you hosting Inside Michigan Football and continuing on as the Lions color analyst?
Yes, you will. That is the plan as we go forward. As long as they want me, I'm out there doing it.
Well, when I think of your football schedule during the season, it makes me tired just thinking about it. And I often think, how in the world does Jim have any energy left? You run from a Michigan game to wherever the Lions are playing, and some weekends Michigan's at home, and then you're on the road to where the Lions are playing. Man, that is a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it can get very hectic at times, but I've been doing it a long time, and really, if you look at it, I kind of break it down. There's really only 4 or 5 weekends a year where it's really, really crazy, and I usually kind of say, okay, if I got 4 or 5 weekends, that I can handle that. This year, though, and it's because of the NFL, I'm going to have to miss my first Lions game. They're playing in London.
Oh, that's right.
And it's the Sunday after the Michigan State game. And the problem with that is that the NFL has made the Lions game a 1:30 start in London for 9:30 a.m. start in the U.S. There's just no way, unless I can get Scotty to beam me from East Lansing to London's Wembley Stadium, that I can get there and be ready for the game at that time. So this will be my first game that I'll have to miss in the Lions schedule in 28 years.
That is amazing, but very understandable in this instance. With this schedule, Jim, you've been doing this for so long, and you just are moving in this year as the play-by-play voice of Michigan football. But do you ever think to yourself, how long do I want to keep doing this?
Yeah, there are those moments when you're sitting in your car in a parking lot at Metro Airport and you're trying to get an hour's worth of sleep before you have to get to your next plane. There are those moments where you say, is this really worth it? But when you get to the game and you do the game and you think about what a great job I have. It's that old story is, if you have a job that you love, you don't work a day the rest of your life. Well, that's the situation I've been in for the last 30 years. So while there are times when it gets difficult to travel, particularly, the good and the positive clearly outweighs the negative so often. And I just kind of say, as long as I'm healthy and as long as my health holds out and I'm not really struggling physically to get this done, and I'm still able to do the games, I'm still able to do my job, and I'm not slipping there. I want to continue to do them as long as I can do them. And there'll be a time where I say, you know what, one of the two is causing a problem, whether it's physically or the travel, whatever it might be, or I'm just not, keeping up on the games. I'll know, and I'll step aside. But for now, I feel real comfortable with it. Nobody's told me yet that I'm screwing up. So I'm gonna stay with it.
Well, I think Michigan fans are hoping it's for a long time. Jim, last question. I can't let you get away without getting your early thoughts on Team 135. Does your gut tell you we are headed for a bounce-back season?
I think so. I do. It's a tough schedule, probably very difficult. You're on the road to Michigan State, you're on the road to Ohio State, and that's tough. Two great big teams that are, Big Ten championship caliber squads that played in the Big Ten championship game last year, and you've got both of them on the road. That's a tough schedule. But I also think that Michigan's a year older. They're going to be young. I think defensively up front, from what I saw in spring, they're going to be deeper and a little bit better. The big question mark becomes their ability to run the football and protect the quarterback. That was the issue last year. Too many negative plays. And in my judgment, everybody knows that. I mean, the coaches know it, the fans know it, everybody else does. And you don't fix that in spring or anything else. The only time, it's a results business, and it's going to happen during the season. But they prove that they can run the football, and they can protect the quarterback and eliminate some of those negative plays offensively. And that's, in my judgment, the biggest job that they have in this early fall camp when they get to it in August, is to get that job done and make sure that situation is repaired. If they do that, I think they've got the skill and talent to win some games and compete for a Big Ten championship.
Well, Jim, I think I can say for all Michigan fans, we are just absolutely thrilled to know that two fine Michigan men will be bringing us all of the action this fall on the Michigan Football Network, and I can't wait to hear you and Dan together. And as Bob Ufer used to say, I have my ankles taped already. I'm ready for some football.
Ufer's not wrong. I've got my ankles taped too, and I think that Dan probably will too. I know that he's excited, and it's going to be great fun. I really can't wait till we get started.
Well, congratulations again, Jim. We look forward to getting you back on the show soon and during the season, hopefully. So until then, go Blue.
Mike, my pleasure. Talk to you later.
On my podcast Facebook page this week, I asked for fan feedback on the Mitch McGary situation. We received calls from Chris Schaefer from Orange County, California, and Steve Brown from Birmingham, Alabama, with their thoughts. Let's hear what they had to say.
Hi, my name is Chris Schaefer. I'm calling from Orange County, California. I just wanted to answer your question about Mitch McGary and my response to his punishment from the NCAA and his resulting departure to the NBA. I'm not disappointed in Mitch at all. I think I'm more disappointed in the NCAA's reaction, their punishment, which, like the NCAA has shown in the past, where they don't exactly fit a punishment to the crime. I almost compare Mitch McGary's career as kind of the career of Jamal Crawford while he was at Michigan. Very talented player that came to Ann Arbor with, high expectations and left amongst, scrutiny in a career with Michigan that was way too short. I think I'll always remember, obviously, his play in the NCAA tournament last year in 2013, how good it was to see Michigan back on top in the national championship game again.
Yeah, this is a Michigan fan in Alabama. My name is Stephen Brown. I'm actually calling to give dialogue on the Mitch McGary situation. Do I agree with the NCAA's ruling? No, because football seems to be different. I don't know why it just is. But like Mitch said, he denied it every time except the one time he shouldn't have. I mean, that he should have. And it cost him. I want him to do well in the NBA, but I also think that Coach Beilein needs to start recruiting dominant big men to play down low, because that was one of our issues in the tournament without having a Mitch. He brought his West Virginia style to Michigan, and it was cute for the first couple of years, but now it's getting old. We need a dominant big man down low who's going to crash the board, bang the board, and we need people who are going to play their position. We don't need a small forward playing power forward. Kind of like he did Glenn Robinson III, but hopefully he'll do his thing. As far as Coach Beilein is concerned, I hope he does better in recruiting. I hope we have a good year, and I hope that players start to actually stay at Michigan for at least 3 years, because it's getting ridiculous. We're going to be like Kentucky soon, having those one and done guys, and we don't need that at an institution like Michigan. So I hope that the team does well. I hope we recruit well, and I hope that Coach Beilein gets his act together as far as recruiting, because we need different types of players than what he's bringing in. Go Blue.
Thanks again to Chris Schaefer from Orange County, California, and Stephen Brown from Birmingham, Alabama, for giving us their feedback on the Mitch McGary situation on our fan feedback line. You too are welcome to call anytime with any of your Maize and Blue thoughts. Our number is open 24/7 for you to call and record your comments at 313-263-4842. That's 313-263-4842. Or you can even email the Michigan Man Podcast at yahoo.com. That's the Michigan Man Podcast at yahoo.com. Coming up next, we wrap it up for another week on Wolverine Quick Hits. Here on the Michigan Man Podcast on GBMW Go Blue, Michigan Wolverine. On Wolverine Quick Hits, Michigan hasn't wasted much time filling the space left behind by a number of departures. First, it was Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman. Now Michigan has added 3-star Aubrey Dawkins to the 2014 recruiting class. Dawkins was a player that Michigan got onto later in the recruiting process. He visited a couple of weeks ago and picked up an offer at that time. He followed through on a scheduled visit to Dayton recently, his other top contender, and ultimately decided for Michigan. Dawkins, the son of former NBA player Johnny Dawkins, was not very widely recruited, with offers from the likes of Portland State, Montana, UC Davis, and others making up his list. He is a bit of an under-the-radar recruit out of New Hampshire. He has good length at 6'5", and is noted to have very good athleticism, which is something Michigan will welcome after the departure of Glenn Robinson III. Dawkins also brings something that GR3 struggled with, a nice-looking, consistent outside jumper. U of M Hoops notes that he is more of an off-ball type player on offense, while having as usual a very nice scouting report on him that is worth checking out. So he could work in from the 2 to the 4 while at Michigan. While Michigan having to look to fill roster spots so late in the process is not ideal, it is comforting to know that the last time the Wolverines did this, they ended up picking up Karis LeVert and Spike Albrecht. If Rockman and Dawkins can follow in those footsteps, Michigan will be well set up next year. The Wolverines will look for at least one of these two wing recruits to step into the rotation as a backup at the 2 and 3. The number 4 ranked University of Michigan softball team used a pair of big innings to sweep a doubleheader on Saturday at Illinois, 10-2 in 6 innings in Game 1 and 6-5 in Game 2 at Eichelberger Field. Michigan plated 4 runs in the first inning of Game 2 and looked poised to pull away from the Fighting Illini. The first 3 Wolverine hitters reached, and 10 hitters in all went up to bat. Sophomore Sierra Romero smacked an opposite field single to score U of M's first run. The Fighting Illini got 2 back off of starter Haley Wagner in the first to cut the lead to 4-2. Sophomore Sierra Lawrence slugged a 2-run homer to deep center in the second to build the U of M lead back to 4 runs. But then a Michigan error let in 2 more runs in the bottom of the second to make it 6-4. Freshman Megan Betza replaced Wagner in the fourth and walked the first batter she faced to load the bases with 1 out. Montemorano then came up with a huge defensive play, snagging a hot shot down the third base line, stepping on third, and then throwing across the diamond to first to get the double play, ending the inning. So the Wolverines heading into this week's action sport a record of 39 wins against 9 losses, 17-3 in the Big Ten. They'll wrap up the home portion of the regular season this weekend versus Wisconsin. First pitch is this Friday at 6 p.m. at the Wilpon Complex. Again, the Wolverines ranked number 4 heading into this week's play. The University of Michigan baseball team held Nebraska to 4 hits on the game and put up crooked numbers in 3 separate innings in a 7-5 win on Sunday afternoon at the Wilpon Complex, home of Ray Fisher Stadium. The Wolverines pick up the win in the series finale to move back to 500 in the Big Ten this season. Nebraska scored in the top of the first on Pat Kelly's RBI groundout that plated Ryan Bolt. The Wolverines answered with 3 runs in the first. Sophomore Travis Mazes reached on an infield single. Sophomore Jacob Cronenworth bunted him to second while reaching on an error by Nebraska pitcher Aaron Boomer. Junior Jackson Glines bunted both runners over, and senior Cole Martin brought Mazes in on a sacrifice fly. Freshman Carmen Benedetti singled home Cronenworth, and freshman Jackson Lamb tripled to right, scoring Benedetti and giving Michigan a 3-1 lead. Benedetti was 3 for 4 with a ribby and 2 runs scored. Mazes added 2 hits and 2 runs. Kelly drove in 4 runs for Nebraska. Fifth-year senior Logan McAnallen earned his second win in as many appearances, striking out 3 and allowing just 1 hit with 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched. The Wolverines 19-24-1 overall, and again back to the 500 mark in the Big Ten. They will be back in action this weekend. For the second straight year, the Detroit Athletic Club has chosen University of Michigan men's swimmer Connor Yeager as its Michigan Male College Athlete of the Year, the organization announced Monday. Yeager will officially be given the award on Monday, May 12th at the 18th Annual DAC Athletic Awards in downtown Detroit. Yeager is the first repeat winner of the award and the 3rd male recipient from the University of Michigan, joining former swimmer Travis Tarwater in 2006 and former wrestler Kellen Russell 2012. The award started in 1996 and honors both athletic and academic achievement. In 2006, the awards were expanded to recognize outstanding college athletes with the Michigan College Athlete of the Year. So congratulations